Good morning, it's the Bhoycie Bus, it's the Sunday Blether, it's Derby Day, and it's live! That's my worst impression of what's his name? Phil?
Martin
How
Tyler.
you doing? You doing good, Phil?
Martin Tyler. I'm doing all right, mate. Doing fine, despite, obviously, we're counting down to kick-off now. I'm feeling okay just now, feeling all right.
Good, and of course, as you can see, Luke Senior is with us today. I'd ask how you were, but I only saw you on Wednesday. You impromptu visit to Scotland. You get home okay?
Eventually, yeah. No, yeah. Bit of a delay, but we got home.
Good,
but
good,
yeah, it was
good.
all right. Yeah.
Is nerves kicking in yet? Is the nerves kicking in?
They're not kicking in yet, but about 2 minutes to kick off, I'll be shaking like a shitting dog, I suppose, and it'll stay that way all through the game. The adrenaline just keeps on racing through, so I just I'll be up and down like a fiddler's elbow, like, you know, and yeah, but I'm all right at the minute. But the nerves will kick in big time. Just about 2 minutes to 12.
They always do. I always start off like quite calm, and then the morning starts, and it didn't help last night. I'd been on the rum last night, and the rum never agrees with my stomach. So to do that before Derby Day was a bit silly. But hey, well, if I need to rush off, you'll know why. But before we get started, as you know, this is the Sunday Blether. This is the show where we do all the news, the gossip, the hearsay, sounding Celtic. If you like what we do, give us a like, give us a share, slag the hair or lack of it, unless you're talking to Phil, of course. And big shout out to piesports.com, 12.5% off your tasty pastry treats. Right, the news, the gossip, the hearsay. The only thing that we need to start off with is the missing captain from the starting 11 today. Phil, are you surprised that it's Tomoki Iwata in the starting lineup after all the build-up this week to see McGregor on the bench? And does it concern you at all that McGregor is on the bench and not the starting 11 today?
Not concerns me massively. Iwata's been okay. He's been serviceable. He's not been terrible by all means. He's definitely out of the rotating door that we've had in the midfield this season. He's been one of the better options that's came in, I think. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, McGregor on the bench. You said before the show when we were talking, saying, is he an impact sub? We've never seen McGregor in that scenario before because we're that used to him starting. So I wonder what, where we'll find ourselves today, where he has to come on. Does he come on to change the game in our favour? Is he the type of guy that comes on if we are winning at that point to help us see it out? But it's an interesting dynamic for McGregor, a different role for him essentially. But Tomoki, I say, he's played well. He's been one of the better options in there. So yeah, it's the strongest lineup that we can go with right now, where everybody is fully fit and able to play. So yeah, and it is of course on the screen right now for anyone that's not seen it yet. There you go.
Yep, so we'll go through the lineup here quickly. So obviously the back line is picking itself as usual. Joe Hart in goals, of course. Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers with the captain armband today. Scales, Taylor, Tomoki, O'Reilly, Hatate. Good to see him in the starting 11 today. I'm glad to see that after a good performance against Livingston last week. Kuhn, who I'm very optimistic about today. We'll get on to that. Maeda, we know what we're getting with Maeda, or maybe we don't. And of course, the main man himself, Kyogo, he gets the nod ahead of Ida up front. So let's have a quick look at some of these names. I obviously, Johnny. I'm going to call you Johnny. It's your Sunday name. Hatate back in the starting lineup. Like I said, a good performance against Livingston, albeit Livingston. However, I think we saw what was missing when Hatate was back in the team. Just the way he turns on the ball when he receives it, and it's that quick, more creative, more risky pass that could completely open up a defence. And of course, he'll claim it at the goal as well, and his return obviously will help with confidence. How are you feeling with Hatate starting ahead of likes of Bernardo and obviously McGregor on the bench as well?
I'm quite happy with Hatate starting. I think he's obviously been a big miss throughout the season. His energy and his just his level of skill is a level above Bernardo. Bernardo's I'd say a decent player. We've all spoke about in recent weeks. He had that little purple patch just around about the last time we played Rangers and scored the goal, but then he's fell away again. So I think I'd rather see Hatate in that starting lineup as against Bernardo, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to quickly just, while I'm remembering, Phil, you mentioned exactly what we've been getting out of Iwata so far. So I'm just going to bring up this stat actually came up today. It's Tomoki Iwata's birthday today, if you haven't noticed on social media today. But this is this is his stat from there's stats from Celtic that they posted up today. So he's played 667 minutes. His passing accuracy is 91%. His recovery is 53. Successful passes 480 and 28 duels won. Phil used the word serviceable player. I think that those stats there pretty much sums it up. What I am happy to see about the Iwata situation is he does give you that little bit more anchor in the midfield. You know, that bit more of protection for the back line, who have been a bit shaky as of late. Maybe not so much with Cameron Carter-Vickers being on the side, but we know what happens when he is taken. So obviously, no doubt Rangers will target Taylor and Scales more so than Cameron Carter-Vickers. But I think Iwata there shows what he actually brings to the side. There was a comment, I'm trying to find it from just a wee minute ago. Oh, he did have a bit of a wobbly game against
Tynecastle.
Yeah, at Tynecastle. He shot it at Tynecastle was the comment. I just can't find it. There we go. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Craig White, yes. Maybe a bit ponderous on the ball in the nervy situations. Of course, we are playing at Ibrox today. I don't know if Iwata played in a derby from the start. Can somebody
not from the start. Not from the start.
He's come on. So like, obviously, this is a big game for him. This is a debut start at Ibrox with no Celtic fans. Reflecting back on what happened to him at Tynecastle, being a bit ponderous on the ball, losing it, which conceded a goal from, which was rightfully ruled offside. However, it was a warning. Will that be? Could that come into factor today, Phil? The atmosphere, is Iwata capable of dealing with a hostile environment such as Ibrox?
Well, as I said on Friday, that the way this game's going to pan out, the first 20 minutes in particular, we know exactly what's going to happen. They are going to come out, the traps flying, they're going to be right in our faces. If we can weather that storm and sort of kill their momentum, just calm it down a wee bit, then yeah, Iwata is capable of, as his stats show there, ball retention and whatnot, because that's going to be so crucial today. Just make sure you always find your man with every pass, because as much as we come on here every week and we try and talk about, Brendan maybe changing this and changing that, he's not going to change it. Let's be honest here. He's just going to stick to what he wants, and this is this passing game, sideways and whatnot. But if he is going to make sure that they stick to it, then yeah, every player has to be absolutely on it today. I brought up on Friday as well, a great example was obviously the first game between us this season at Ibrox. Obviously, it ended up being a foul in the end, but what happened to Lagerbielke was he was dwelling on the ball a bit too long. He closed down, and then, of course, it resulted in a foul. They did score. VAR overturned it. So we're not always going to get away with those types of ones. So it's like if we cannot allow situations like that to arise today. And the only way to do that is we have to just be so slick on the ball with every single pass. Don't take too many risks. Just make sure that, there's always an option when somebody's on the ball. So, don't, make it difficult for the guy on the ball. Always you'll show for it, because we don't want to play ourselves into trouble here. Because when we are on it, when we are at our absolute best, I think we are the better team compared to them. But we can be our own worst enemy, sadly, and it's caused by things like dwelling on the ball and whatnot. So hopefully today, when it comes to Iwata, he's just a safe hand, finds his man with every pass, and no crazy risks taken.
I've just pulled up the Rangers lineup here, because there's obviously this week there's been a lot of talk of their injuries. Some of them are coming back from injuries. Some people not going to be quite ready. A lot of Rangers fans that I spoke to were concerned with the fact that it looks like Barisic would be starting today. However, that doesn't appear to be the case. The Rangers lineup today, is Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Sterling, Lundstrom, Diomande, Lawrence, Wright, Silva, and Dessers. So no Barisic is on the bench. McCauselin's on the bench. McCrory, Cantwell, Matondo, Sima. One of their injuries, injured players coming back, not managing to make the starting lineup today. I don't want to say this was going to come back and bite me in the arse, I'm sure, but I'm quite surprised at that lineup, and nobody's jumping out at me that concerns me too much. Obviously, Tavernier will be a threat as usual from free kick situations and potential penalties. And, you know, we've seen it happen umpteen times. He'll score for open play as well. But I mean, Silva, not prolific, good player but not prolific. Dessers, he'll get chances today, but it's known that he's not. He misses a lot of chances. He's scored a few now. He scored a few goals, obviously up to now, but he misses a lot of chances. So we can't give him the opportunity to get a lot. Johnny, is there anyone in that starting lineup that I've read out there that concerns you? Lundstrom, I'm sure, concerned Kyogo's shoulder. Is there anybody that worries you, or that we need to be, keeping an eye on today?
No, I mean, again, this could come back and bite us on the arse as well. But when you look at that starting 11 there for Rangers, I've got it up on the screen here on my phone, and there isn't anybody I would say there that really worries me. I think, obviously, Rangers are trying to, and I'm not saying anything nobody else has not said here, they'll target our left-hand side, Scales and Taylor, which is pretty obvious. So which is why we need Maeda. Maeda could actually have a good game today and not touch the ball if he keeps Tavernier pinned back and out the way, and we don't give away stupid free kicks within decent crossing or indeed shooting distance, because I think he's scored in the last 2 games from distance, hasn't he? So, so Hart needs something like this. In fact, when I look at that team, if you were to say to me, pick one of those players that Celtic could sign for next season, there's only one I would pick, and that would be Butland. And even, just because he's had a decent season, I don't think he's had a fantastic season for Rangers. I think he's looked a good goalkeeper, but nothing amazing. But otherwise, I don't think that team really worries me. They could come out and batter us, but I don't think they will. Phil, I think on our day, pound for pound, we've got better players. We just need to perform better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think there's been? I mean, I'm surprised Souttar's in that starting lineup today, Phil. To be honest, I actually thought you might have went with Balogun just for even though he is a bit older, but he's quite quick. Obviously to deal with Kyogo's running in behind. I think Kyogo is looking at that lineup today and thinking, I'm pretty happy with that. I even think Kuhn. I was wanting to get on to Kuhn, Phil, because I was fairly confident, as well, a lot of the Rangers fans that I've spoken to, that Barisic would start today, and I wonder if Kuhn's pace and beginning to get to run a form has maybe caught the eye of Clement and has decided that he's not willing to risk Barisic at left back today because of the dangers that Kuhn has shown in the last couple of games.
Well, it looks like they haven't got an actual left back at all. People are speculating in the chat. Is Scott Wright playing left back for them, or is it Sterling?
It'll be Sterling.
Sterling did play there, I think, in the first meeting between the teams this season. I'm pretty sure he was playing at left back, but yeah, he's right-footed, so that should hopefully benefit Kuhn then. If he's up against a guy who's playing on his wrong side, hopefully we can take advantage of that. Hope to God that Sterling is one of these ones like Barisic that goes to sleep at the back post, because that obviously was his party trick against us. But yeah, his form has been fantastic recently, so he just needs to keep it going. This is the one. This is the fixture. This is why you join Celtic. That's why you come to this city to play for us. And this is the big one. And what a statement it would be if he could have a massive impact today. And as for Souttar playing, yeah. Again, because I genuinely don't like watch them on the regular. I know there's a lot of Celtic fans that will watch them, and that's fair enough if you do, no problem. I know my dad likes to, keep an eye on what they're up to. But when it came to their centre backs, like apparently Ben Davis is still with them. I didn't even know that until recently. I thought he was maybe he'd left or something. So the centre back options on the great. I've seen different tweets flying around from Rangers fans over the course of the last few months where they go on about how great John Souttar's been. Again, I need to just take the word for it as he improved. All I remember with John Souttar against us is he played a pass back to McGregor last season that Jota intercepted and went round him and stuck it in the net to put his 3-1 up at the time. That's the only thing I can remember seeing John Souttar doing a Rangers shirt, to be honest, because, hopefully today he's still haunted by that mistake and makes a similar one today. And, we can capitalise. But, again, you keep looking at it and going, I know it could be famous last words, and anything can happen in this fixture. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Eric Bo Anderson scoring 2 goals against us in this fixture. Many years ago, and he was, you talk about Cyril Dessers nowadays and how he gets viewed by Rangers fans. Eric Bo Anderson was like the equivalent of that back in the mid-90s. And so anyone can pop up and be a hero today. But I say that on Friday night, like, you look at their team, who is their danger man right now? And again, apparently Dessers is now scoring a few goals. But again, mates I've got who are Rangers fans have said that he is genuinely one of the worst players to ever put on their shirt. And it's like, God, the thought of it. But again, we don't know who'll step up and be a hero today for either side. Strange things have happened, but hopefully, come the end of it all, it's somebody in the green and white hoops.
There was a comment earlier that had said that we're putting out the wrong message by not starting McGregor today, which I can understand the commenter's point. Sorry, I can't remember who it was, but I did clock it. However, David Kelly, you've brought up a point here that Rangers playing 3 centre halves and 3 defensive midfielders, they're not looking to lose. Is that the message, Johnny, that the Rangers fans might be reading into that today? Like, I mean, if David Kelly's spotted that, and a few other Celtic fans will have spotted that as well, it does seem like a very, I thought, Rangers would have wanted to come out the chaps flying today. They still might. But when you look at that lineup, it does feel quite rigid and defensive, like almost like they know the threats that we pose. Is that going to be Celtic's downfall today? Because look how we have struggled to break teams down that are sitting a bit deeper in. I'm not saying Rangers are going to sit in deep today, but I mean, when you read, like I said, when you look at that lineup, it does read quite defensively. And is that playing into Clement's mindset today, that Celtic struggle when teams don't give them any space behind? They need to keep it tight today and hit them on the break. Is that the plan?
Although I would never have thought that they would line up and set up like that, but it does look as if it is a case of they've just thought, look, this team, if we pack in the midfield and the defence, they'll struggle, we'll get chances, and regardless of what we think of their forwards, you think they've got to be better than most of the attackers that we come up against at other teams, and they'll maybe fancy if we get 2 chances in a game, if we take one of them, we win 1-0. Whereas if we're playing the likes of Livingston, who did score 2 against us at Celtic Park, as will be said, but that was in a cup game, so a slight difference of their tactics. So it could be that they're looking for, if not setting back in all-out defence, but more of a containment, keep us nullified, keep us quiet, and try and hit us on the break. Again, a bit like Phil, I will watch Rangers games when I get the chance. Don't get the chance too often, so I've not seen too much of them. I don't know how fast their attackers and that are, whether they were the speed merchants. Like, they've certainly not got a Maeda in their ranks. But so that could be the way they're thinking about doing it. Let's nullify them. Because I think we've got to come out at them. I think we've really got to go at them, because the last few times we've played them, we've had slow starts and lost early goals. And what I don't want them doing is pinning us back in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes you talked about earlier on, David, because I'd have my doubts as to whether we'd survive that first 20 minutes without losing a goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree. Phil, the squad, like I said, Christ, it's April, and we're now starting to say they look like they're starting to click. I mean, it's like 7 games left, but about time. But they do look like they're starting to click. And getting into a wee bit of your form. I was laughing at Roger's comments. I mean, it was one of those kind of Well, yeah, obviously, but it's like when we play well, we don't concede and we score lots of goals. It's like, well, cheers for that insightful knowledge. But I mean, it is as simple as that, and it's like, I mean, the Livingston game again, a nice comfortable win. What was it? Was it 3-1?
We them 3-0 last week, and 4-2 in the cup.
That's it, I'm getting myself mixed up there, but the players seem confident. I've got a little quote here from Bernardo. Obviously, he was speaking to reporters after he was one of the. I think obviously won. He scored the winner against Rangers last time. He was saying that it's good, but every game is just one game. The past is the past. We have to build again for the future. We expect to face a great opponent. Rangers are our rivals, so they have to be good to play against us. So let's see. The team are confident. Some players have come back from injury too, so that's good for the group. There is a lot of competition for places, and that helps the team. Everyone will give the best of themselves to play good football. I can't find the quote that Tati said the other day, but it almost, it was like a battle cry in a sense that he wants to show us that he wants to win trophies for Celtic and continue to win trophies. It shows what we've been missing. I said all the players are starting to come back for injuries. We're starting to click. Rodgers is now at a point where he can pick from pretty much everybody except Palmer, who's obviously still injured. Things are looking good, so I can see why there is a positive confidence going into this game, Phil. I just struggle with it. I just struggle, but there is no reason that we can't do it today. I mean, everything that goes against us again, no fans, and no Celtic fans in the ground. It's at Ibrox. It's one of those ones where Rangers should be, and maybe still are, favourites, but we've done it already this season twice. Why can't we do it again?
Well, all the things that they're saying in that interview there from Bernardo, they're saying all the right things. I hope it translates well on the park. He's giving off the vibes, how confident the players are. So yeah, show us that today. Because as it turns out, and I understand your sort of like apprehension, David, because this season has just done that to us. We were at a point in December where we were 11 points clear, I believe. We beat St Johnston and McDermott to go 11 ahead, although they had a game in hand at the time, which they played, I think, the next day. But yeah, 11 points, and now we find ourselves in this position. So we've dug ourselves into this position. Only we can get ourselves out now. The strange thing is, and I've said this a few times in recent shows, where it's the games against the other teams that are worrying me more than this fixture. It's like, because we've still got Killie to play at Rugby Park, I believe, and we've not got a good track record there this season. So it's like, this game today, Celtic could very well go out there and do it today, and it'll be, but there's still so much work to do. Yeah, we've put ourselves in this position. Bernardo said all the right things there, but they need to look at the bigger picture. When we get to the end of the season, if we do come away and win this title, win the double even, if we do manage to pull that off this season, a lot of work needs to be done in the summer to make sure that this doesn't happen again, because most of us fans cannot sit through what we've went through this season. The football has regressed all season. And yeah, now they're starting to find form. Yeah, as you said, we've 7 games to go. That's all well and good. We should have been finding our form months ago. We shouldn't be in this position. But now this is where we find ourselves. So they've got us in this position. They're the ones that can get us out. So go and show us today, and show us over the next month or so how much you want this. It's all good saying it in an interview, but make sure it translates on the park.
Johnny, obviously Kyogo is starting today. He loves this fixture, to say the least, and I'm sure the Rangers back line will be dreading coming up against the wee man that they just can't seem to keep an eye on. He went through a sticky patch. It was looking like he wasn't enjoying his football anymore. People were saying that they maybe didn't even want to be at the club anymore, and Rodgers had killed anything that was good. That was Kyogo. And of course, Ida then comes in and gets a few goals, creates a bit of competition there that maybe just wasn't really, or certainly wasn't doing for Kyogo. Looks like he's back to his best, or near enough back to his best. The St Johnston game was a fine example of what Kyogo can bring when he's on top form. Put the ball in the net like 5 times. I know a lot of them are all offside, marginally, and of course at the post and at the bar. His confidence has grown in the last couple of weeks. Didn't get his goal against Livingston, of course, but he must be rubbing his hands at this fixture today. He must be. He just loves this fixture. And I think if anyone's going to be scoring for us today, it's going to be Kyogo on the end of a low cross at the back post thanks to one of our wingers.
Yeah, he definitely does love this fixture, doesn't he? He had a bit of a slow burn on this fixture to start with, but once it took hold, he certainly knows his way to go, and makes you wonder if that's what Rangers are thinking about with their lineup today. Let's keep that wee guy quiet. And you're right, he wasn't enjoying his football. We weren't enjoying the football either as fans watching it, and he was obviously. He could get frustrated even when we were playing well with players not finding his runs and getting the ball to him. And it must have been even worse with let's face it, what was slow and pretty turgid stuff that we had to watch while Kyogo was at his lowest point of this season, if you like. But he seems to have caught fire again, and hopefully he's going to find his way to go. And a couple of nice 25-yarders past Butland today would be more than enjoyable to watch, to be fair, and watch back tonight on YouTube. But I think he's obviously going to be the danger man. But I think he'll play the first 60 minutes, and then we might get Ida come on. Might even get Ida come on with Kyogo, depending on what's going on in the game, which would be quite good to see, interesting to see. But I don't want it to be done because we're in trouble and we need to try and dig ourselves out of a hole.
Phil, another player that looked like he was maybe getting back on form and got on the score sheet last week was Matt O'Reilly. Not been having his best games since the Atletico Madrid bid. People will maybe put 2 and 2 together there and assume that that's maybe what's caused the down, not downing tools, but the drop in form, depending on what side of the fence you want to sit on. But he got his goal, and maybe the perfect time to do it. He likes this fixture also. He enjoys this fixture. He seems to live for the big games. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Matt O'Reilly brings today. He'll be another player that the Rangers will be wary of today. I just hope that we are getting the pre-Atletico Madrid bid Matt O'Reilly, not the post-Atletico Madrid bid Matt O'Reilly. So.
Yeah, well, he's shown this season how good he can be when he's on it. The first half of the season in particular, he was carrying us through a lot of games. It was phenomenal. And, rightfully so. There was obviously a bid on the table from a top European team, it seems. And but whether it's a case of, his head was turned and whatnot, or he's just been victim of the sort of the way the footballs went. But last week, nicely timed for him to get back on the score sheet. We need him to find that for him today. He's the type of guy that we can, we need in these big fixtures. And as I say, he's proven that he's got it. So there's no reason why he can't step up and do it. He's going to be targeted today by their players. Obviously, you've got the Lundstrom in the middle of the park. I imagine he'll be targeting the O'Reillys and the Hitatis as other creative players. Lundstrom's definitely in there for a specific job, let's be honest. So I've seen that on Friday night. We talked about their physicality and whatnot, but under Ange, and then obviously this season we haven't really looked to make it a physical battle in the middle of the park. We still like to just try and pass it around them, just make them chase the ball. And we'll just need to do that today. Hopefully we can just tire him out because there was in the game at Celtic Park back in December. There were moments where he was getting frustrated in the middle of the park. There was one point in particular I can remember him throwing his hands up in the air in frustration. Do what Morelos used to do quite a lot against us when we would just kind of pass it around and just frustrate him. There were points where Lundstrom was doing that. So guys like him today, hopefully O'Reilly, Hitati and whatnot can just knock it around them and just neutralise him because if you again dwelling on the ball being the issue, you're on the ball for too long, he's going to get physical, come in there, stick a tackle on them and whatnot, rough them up a wee bit. So this is the area that O'Reilly plays in. So hopefully he comes out the victor in that battle today.
Is O'Reilly the player that grabs the game by the scruff of the neck if it's not going your way, Phil? We look back to that game under Ange, the game where Cameron Carter-Vickers, I think he got the winner. We were a bit under the cosh. It wasn't looking great. It was a very early goal that I think it was Ramsey that got the goal. Callum McGregor just took the game by the scruff of the neck and went, right, I'm fucking sorting this out, and he certainly did very quickly. Obviously, I think he got the goal. Is Matt O'Reilly going to be that player today? Because I do look at that lineup, Phil, and I do go, who's the player that grabs this game by the scruff of the neck if it's not going to be Callum McGregor?
It's Rio Hatate, I think, is the guy. He's the key man. He's the risk taker. Because Brendan's play so far up to this point in the season has been very safe, essentially, the way he wants the team to play. But Hatate is that guy that will take a risk. Yeah, I know there's obviously a lot of dangers there, but this is a point where we need to roll the dice a little bit, and we need to be a wee bit more adventurous. Because, yeah, it's down to the nitty-gritty now. So we've dug ourselves into the trenches here. We are in a battle. Yeah, so Hatate for me could be that guy, one of those, because he's proven in this fixture already. In the time that he's been here, he can do some serious damage against them. But yeah, he's got that sort of dynamic way about his play where he can, play different types of passes and whatnot. He's not afraid, he can zip, we've seen some of the passes he can zip across the park and whatnot. We're going to need him to just show his full range today and just control the middle of the park. So I think Hatate is actually the one that if you're looking to get us out of a hole today, I think he's the one we need to look to.
He's the player that finds Kyogo when he makes those runs, Phil. I think that's what the big missing factor that Kyogo's had in his game. The frustrating. Nobody seems to see his runs or manage to make those passes for those runs that he makes. But I think Hatate he's the guy that does it. He does create those defence splitting passes that Kyogo will absolutely love. Now, David Kelly, I keep bringing him up. I don't know if he's joking or not. Because he's Greg Taylor. Yeah. Maybe Greg Taylor will be the player that grabs Scotland. He knows what this fixture means. He's played in enough of them now, and he doesn't shy away from these fixtures. He does get a lot of stick from fans, especially a certain punked up Warlock.
Yep,
has shown his distaste to Taylor still being in the starting lineup. But Johnny, I think we've got to give Taylor credit what it's due. I mean, he never shies away in this fixture, and I mean you can see what it means to him this fixture when Mickey Johnson comes off the bench, hoping if I just stay up at this end of the ball, come to me and I can do a couple of tricks that I'll be able to do it at West Brom easy enough, but not do the defensive work. I mean, he screamed his head off it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like the passion was there. Like he knows the importance of this fixture, and I don't think it can be gone unnoticed that Taylor won't shy away today. He might be the weak link in the team. He may be the target that Rangers will go for today to try and get a result, but he doesn't shy away from that. He's always up for the battle, and I think you've got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, I think there's lots of things you can throw at Taylor in regards to his performances and that, but effort's not really one of them. Yeah, he's always going to be targeted down that side as much as anything because, well, you look at who we've got in our defence. We've got him, we've got Scales, we've got Carter Vickers, who's maybe not the tallest centre-half you've ever seen, but he's certainly solid. And we've got Johnson the same. It doesn't take a genius to look at the thing, right? Who's the weak link there? What is it? Taylor, 5'5"? Of course he's going to be a weak link on the back post at corner kicks, front post at corner kicks, or even just his general height. He's not going to out-muscle somebody who's about 6'2" and 15.5 stone, is he? So he's going to be the weak link. I don't think he's that bad as some people make out. He's decent. He can sometimes be very good, but that's about it with him. But you can't fault his effort and his commitment. His commitment's 100%, but sometimes commitment doesn't always take you through. Back in the day, we used to have Anton Rogan, who I don't know if you would have. None of you would have seen Anton Rogan play, but I mean, he always had plenty of commitment, but he was the Greg Taylor of his time, to be fair, he was the whipping boy. But when you talk about unlikely heroes, I'm sure he turned up a couple of times and scored at least one Old Firm winner, I think. Or he set one up, apart from the one that bounced, that always header that bounced off Andy Walker's chest in the 2-1 game. They ended up with them all going to court and whatnot. But yeah, going back to Taylor, I think he's a decent player. He puts in the effort. He's got the commitment, which you can't fault him on. And yes, he can get found wanting at times. And sometimes I think it's as much to do with his height, especially on the corners. I could beat him in the air at corners. So give the guy a little bit of slack, but he's no more than decent.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, I'm being very conscious of how long we've been on today, Phil. I want everyone to get ourselves sorted for the game, so we'll stay on for another maybe 10 minutes or so.
Sure.
I think there's only a couple more players I want to kind of highlight before I just go over some of the quick gossip and news to round up the show. Johnston was mentioned there on the right. Johnston, he loves this fixture. He's loved the fixture from day one. He really basically just burst on the scene actually in the first derby game, if I'm right in saying. But him and Kuhn, they've got some good bit of understanding going on there. Obviously, Johnston wants to bomb forward and get involved in the attacking play. He needs to stop copying Maeda and start maybe copying some of our better crossers. But he won't shy away to his fixture. He will be up for the battle. He will be getting involved. You predicted a good game out of Johnston today?
You can't really predict anything going into these fixtures at times. You just don't know what's going to happen. But he's obviously capable of it. And you're right, he doesn't hide away. He's got that sort of edge to him where he kind of likes roughing them up a wee bit. We've said about this team over the last few years about we need more characters like him in the team, that are in these fixtures to getting about them and a bit of shithousery essentially. I think he's good at that. But yeah, you are totally right about it. He gets forward well enough, but his crossing does leave a little bit to be desired. But hey man, if you put enough of them in the box, eventually they'll land on somebody's head or somebody's foot. So yeah, hopefully today he's just well involved because that means that we're doing something right if he's getting up and getting by there. But so their left side, as people in the chat have already targeted that could be a problem for them with having to play Sterling there, who's not a natural left back. So if Johnston is able to get forward and get the balls into the box, then it means we're getting round their full back essentially. So yeah, and more chances we make, better chance we have of scoring at the end of it. And in terms of overall, can we predict we'll have a good game? Well, I hope so. We've no any time for passengers at this stage, so everyone needs to be absolutely on it today, David.
Pato here saying Johnston's a hothead and an accident waiting to happen. I can understand the narrative there. I think he's the guy that you want if you're going to go in a scrap and you need some backup. You're taking Johnston with you out of that team. And maybe Cameron Carter-Vickers, but Johnston's certainly going to be up for that. He's the player in that team that won't allow Lundstrom to bully the likes of Kyogo and Taylor. I think Johnston will always be that guy that will back his teammates up.
You got to remember as well, David, he made his debut for the club at Ibrox last year. That was his first game, remember, the 2-2 draw. And he looked totally fine that day. What a baptism of fire that is. He came in that day and he's been fine in the fixture ever since. Just don't mention handballs. That one set them off quite a bit in the last one. Remember the infamous, it was offside handball? Yes, that one. So, yeah, that's provoked them quite a bit. They're still talking about it to this day.
Oh, well, let's talk about referees then and decisive decision making, because it's not gone. We can't ignore the build up to this game, the decision makings and games leading up to this, and comments from the manager, who has praised John Beaton for being one of the best referees in the country. I mean, that's like saying I'm the best looking in the fucking. I'm not even going to say it. I'll get cancelled. We'll move on. However, how concerned are we of when the referees were being announced of who's on VAR and who's refereeing the game today? Does it concern you? Does it concern you, Johnny, that John Beaton's going to play a massive factor in this game? And the people turn and say, well, in the last few games, Celtic have had some dubious decisions again. Like the perfectly nothing wrong goal after when I think who was it? It was Lagerbielke had tripped over Dessers or whatever it was. I can't remember, but remember that was a decision that the Rangers are still talking about till today. The handball that you were mentioning, Phil. So, what the question I'm trying to ask is are the referees going to play a massive factor today, or are we going to actually see a good game of football that will be decided by the best team and not on referees trying to make the game about themselves today?
Well, I'd be concerned about referees regardless of what the build up to it was. I'm hoping that it's going to be down to the football, whichever way, I'm hoping that Celtic win it down to the football ability and not down to any refereeing decisions, or I'm hoping we don't lose it down to any refereeing decisions. But I think it's a hot atmosphere. There's always going to be a good chance. There's going to be some kind of flare up, and were we surprised that John Beaton got the job today? Probably not.
He's the best in the country. Of course, he was getting it. He's the best referee in the country.
He's the best in the country. Of course, he was getting it. Yeah,
of course, he's getting it.
There's diplomacy. Yeah, but let's just say, I think they put Bean actually in a position where he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. If he looks like he's giving something lenient to us, let's just say we have a hairline decision that goes in our favour and wins us the game. It's going to be, he was too lenient there because of the pressure that Brendan Rodgers had put him under when he called him incompetent after the Hearts game. And let's face it, there was really no other words Brendan could use in that situation. But if it goes the other way and it goes against us and Rangers score a winner off a contentious decision, he was always going to do that, wasn't he? Because A, he's a cheating bastard, and 2, he wants to just get back at us and Rodgers in particular. So I think the SFA would have been better to leave him out of it and put somebody else in the middle. But they
wouldn't usually call him. He's not allowed to referee Rangers games.
Well, this is it. Yeah, Rangers say we don't want him refereeing us again, and we don't see him at Ibrox for something like 7 or 8 weeks or games, whatever it was. And maybe we should have just said, look, we don't want him refereeing our games anymore, rather than calling him incompetent. But it's a small pond they're picking from anyway, to be fair. Referee wise, we weren't going to be happy with pretty much whichever referee we got, were we? To be fair, because that's just the way it is, and only in Scotland really can it be that way as far as what referees get what game, like.
We need to cheer up, guys. John's raging.
Aye, apparently so.
But not raging, John. I'm just the nerves are starting to kick in now, and just. As I've said to my mate, I've been around my mates this morning. He's a Liverpool man. He's been watching them this afternoon. He says to me, he said, have a good day. I said, it'll be a good day if we win. If we don't win, it'll be the worst fucking day of the year.
Aye, it goes without saying.
That's just, I'm trying to figure out what was said that's actually negative. I've only been just asking some open questions. You're welcome to debate whether they were correct answers.
Again, I'll just say, has the football been glittered in this season? It's not been like Brendan Rodgers' very first season where we were absolutely blowing everybody away.
I think we've been asked all week. Everyone said I think you're going to get beat today. Maybe we will, but I'm still 2-1 Celtic today. I think positive enough for you. We'll go 5-1.
As long as they win, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what the score is. If Celtic get the win, that's all we need. Any sort of victory will do.
I think we'll win 2-0. I'm hoping we get through that. First 20 minutes, I think Rangers will try and put us under the cosh, but I'm going 2-0.
That's a compliment coming from David. Wow.
Dave, you'll bring it down later on.
It'll be 2-0. Kyogo scored them both from pinpoint precision crosses from Maeda. How's that for looking on the right side?
3-0 Maeda hat-trick, as I always say. So there's positivity for you. Now, before we quickly shoot off, here's some quick gossip for you. Obviously, Joe Hart, who I think will play a big part today. I think we'll see a big decisive save from Big Joey Boy before he leaves. Obviously, he is out. He is leaving the club at the end of the season. He's leaving football at the end of the season, Phil. However, Celtic have apparently stepped up their interest in signing Trabzonspor's goalkeeper. It's like somebody's throwing a keyboard at a wall here. Ugrakran Kakir. According to reports in the player's homeland of Turkey, the current number 1 Joe Hart is due to retire at the end of the season. Celtic are looking for a new stopper for the 2024-25 campaign, and Turkish media claims that Celtic are in discussions with Trabzonspor for 28-year-old Kakir. Turkish outlet Taka Gazette claims that the Parkhead club have been in direct contact with the counterparts for the Super League outfit. He's a 6'3" goalkeeper. He's been mentioned around Celtic earlier this season. He spent his whole professional career in Turkey and his experience of winning trophies and playing in Europe. His price tag is around 7.5 million, apparently, and he has 27 caps for Turkey. Interesting.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I know anything about him other than he pops up on my Ultimate Team pack sometimes, Phil. He gets sent straight to the quick sale. I mean, 27 caps for Turkey International, 1 trophies at a big club in Turkey. I mean, it's everything you'd want in a goalkeeper. Does it scream a little bit of Barkas? I don't know.
Yeah, it screams a lot of Barkas, to be fair. But
trying to be positive here. We're trying to be positive here.
No, but I mean, like say, I can't make any comment on the guy. All I know about him is exactly what I've just read in the paper this morning with you. But who knows? He might be the best. He might be the best goalkeeper in the world. It might just be. I think we're going to be linked with quite a lot of goalkeepers between now and the end of the season. And I don't think too many of them will be playing in Britain either. I know you did say in one of the shows the other week there, Phil, you would probably prefer any goalkeeper we signed to have British football experience. But, if he's a good goalkeeper, he's a good goalkeeper. Whoever it is, get them signed up. We need them in. What we don't want is the judge's prediction of Scott Bain on the first day of the season. We don't want that.
But we all know it's going to come full circle, and at some point Fraser Foster's going to be linked with us again this summer. We just know that's going to happen at some point.
Of course it is,
Of course, it's going to happen. I agree with Johnny, but this boy is one of many that we're going to like, because it's a position that is a priority for us. We need to get one. So it's going to be one that constantly in the newspapers throughout the summer. It's just going to be all sorts of names get thrown. There was a Dutch one, or somebody playing the Eredivisie a few weeks ago as well. There was
agents are going to be pushing every goalkeeper they've got in their books that's either coming out of contract or is out of contract. And, one of them will get the gig. But who knows which one, eh?
Yeah, just as long as it's not Scotty Bain at the start of the season, please.
I think this one's trying to add a little bit extra weight to it by claiming things about emails and whatnot, but can't produce anything of any definitive evidence, if you like. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see, but we'll be trawling through a lot of goalkeepers in the next couple of weeks.
Definitely.
And one other player that we've been linked with today, or earlier in the week, was Queen Park Rangers defender Jake Clark-Salter. He's been linked with us and Premier League clubs like Crystal Palace, Wolves, and Burnley. He's a former under-21 international for England. He operates predominantly as a left-sided centre-back and has made 30 appearances for QPR this season. He's under contract at Loftus Road until 2026, and it's claimed that we've made a tentative contact regarding the defender to sound out his expectations and how much it may cost to land a Chelsea Academy graduate. That sounds a bit like, do you want to come and play for us, maybe? Like, come on, get in there, Celtic, if you're interested. But if he comes in, that could create a domino effect for our Republic of Ireland international Liam Scales, who is still not signed a new contract. Been getting plenty of game time under Brendan this season, but hasn't signed an extension yet. So if, let's say, Scales decides that he no longer wants to play for Celtic, or Celtic decide they no longer want to have Scales at the club, we could be looking at another left-sided centre-back in Clark-Salter. Again, don't know anything about him, but he's having a good season at QPR apparently. But I don't think QPR are having a great season overall. So,
well, there you go.
They got beat yesterday anyway. I don't know what the score was, but they got beat.
Yeah. So that's the two players that have been linked with today. So that's all your news, your gossip, and your hearsay for the Sunday Blether. It's 10 minutes till kick-off, guys. Go get your pies, sports.com pies in the oven. Remember, they'll always taste a little bit better with that 12.5% off discount. So make sure you put in Bus 1888 and you're buying your next batch. Again, I think 2-1 today. Quickly, Phil, what was your prediction again?
Friday night, I said we'll scrape a 1-0, similar to the game at the start of the season. But see, right now, if you offer me a draw, I would happily take a draw because it still keeps it in our hands. It's not ideal, I know, but
negative.
As long as we don't lose today. But I think I said on Friday night, a similar performance to the first victory against them this season, where we will take a chance and that'll be it. That's all we need is one half decent chance and we'll get it.
Johnny?
2-0, Kyogo first goal.
Made a hat-trick. Cool. Right, guys. Go get yourselves sorted. Remember, stay positive. We're going to win this one, and we'll see you for the post-match push. Whoever's on that one. See you guys.
Catch you later, guys.